Welcome to another episode of Meal Prep Monday. Today, I'm talking about the 168-hour mindset. Before I dive into today's episode, a quick reminder that if you are looking for help getting tasty, healthy meals on the table for your family with calm and ease, you can head to prepdish.com/mpm and try our meal plans for 2 weeks for free. Again, that's prepdish.com/mpm and check us out. Okay, so I am actually doing an episode that's building a little bit on the time tracking episode. So I'm realizing a lot of my content this year is going to be inspired by Laura Vanderkam. I wasn't really starting out with that intention, but I am. If you listen to the previous episode on tracking my time, I think the initial inspiration for tracking my time was her book on, 168 hours in the week and kind of that whole perspective. And I'm currently reading her latest book called Tranquility by Tuesday. And I'm hoping to go into a few episodes later this year. It'll probably in the next few months, but go into some of the content that she has in that book. So I think there's a lot of good concepts that can be built upon there. But in that book, one thing she talks about is the 168-hour mindset. And this is really looking at your week and realizing there's 168 hours, but then taking that and putting anything that you need to do into that framework of okay, not oh, I have 1 hour to get this done, but really looking at your time as a 168-hour block. And yeah, okay, you're going to sleep for 56 of those hours, or I don't know, maybe not, but around that time frame. You're going to work for 40 or 50 or 20, or, maybe it's, being with your kids for, X amount of time. So there's some hours that are accounted for, but realizing that when you look at a block of time, so in this case, say, for example, you want to start doing some batching and do, 1 to 2 hours of meal prep for the next month. You want to do 1 to 2 hours of meal prep each week. So if you looked at, let's say it's 2 hours. So if you did those 2 hours, but you looked at it not as 2 hours of this block of time, oh, this afternoon I have to dedicate 2 hours, but no, out of the 168 hours, I'm going to dedicate 2 hours to meal prep. That would be 1% of the 168 hours. And even if so I think it's probably more fair to say, okay, definitely going to sleep for at least 56 hours and work for 40. So there's 72 hours left when you take out those 96 hours. So, okay, 2 hours of meal prep is 3% of those 72 hours. So you see how I'm kind of going here of just kind of shifting your perspective of time and what's there. And then from there, of course, you can go back to previous episodes. I'll link some of them, but just how, with the meal prep, I really like to make it something enjoyable, maybe listening to some favorite music. I actually, once I get into it, and maybe not anyone can relate to me, I enjoy it. I enjoy doing some chopping of vegetables. I find it very relaxing and meditative. And especially when I have the time to do it and I don't feel rushed. I'm okay, this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to kind of enjoy it. And I set the stage to have it be this enjoyable task. And again, this doesn't just need to be meal prep related, anything that you have going on, kind of enjoyable or not, but just making time for things in general, realizing what that looks like in terms of percentage of your hours that you have for the week or your usable hours you have for the week, and using that as a way to really kind of shift your mindset into creating this life that's more fulfilling, at the end of the day, and that's more enjoyable and fun. So my challenge to you this week is to look at it as a week that's filled with 168 hours, and you get the opportunity to fill those up. And maybe not every single hour is how you want to fill it up, but there's definitely some hours within those 168 that you can play around with and be intentional with how you want to use that time. I hope that this episode gets you thinking a little bit. If you have thoughts to share, hop into our Facebook group. I will link that in the show notes. Even if you're not a Prep Dish subscriber, you're welcome to join the group and, pop in and say what's on your mind. Or you can always find me at Prep Dish on Instagram and share there. If you are a longtime listener of this podcast, I would love it if you could leave a rating and review. That just helps other people to find our podcast. And then if you have not tried our meal plans, I was going to give the text code today. I haven't done that the last few episodes. So you can text 33777 and the word meal prep, all one word, and download 1 free week. So again, the number is 33777 and the word meal prep, and you can try out 1 free week of our meal plans and see if it's a fit for you. That's all I have for this week. I'll be back again next Monday with a new episode.